this thing breaks down here, skunk, I think we might just leave it and walk home, mate. Talk about a goat track. Suzuki track, not really. You can turn into a monument up on the side of this hill. Not a bad view from up here. This is wild country, people. Wild and untamed. Yeah, we'll leave him where he is. Yep, you can go that way, we'll go this way. Right? Yeah, don't go near that bugger. It's been a long, hard, hot day and very little sign. But I think one dog has crossed the road. He's come across into where the breeders are now, around the calves. And I've set, I think, 5 traps now. So we're going to pick this dog up, but I really do think we're only dealing with one dog here and 2 over the other side. Brandon, they sort of suit you, those little yellow butterflies, man. They're beautiful. Brandon, you're a sort of butterfly sort of dog. Yeah. The landowner has actually come ahead of us with his tractor and pushed a track in here where there hasn't been a good track for years. It's always a good thing for wild dogs. They love that fresh turned dirt. Now look at this for a beautiful creature. A good derivative. Look at you, boy. Hey? You. Aren't you beautiful? Hey? Cole's pride and joy, are you? Hey? What you doing? People ask me what ammo I run through the little Bruno CCI subsonics, made in America, 40 grain. Yeah, they work well and they're usually quite available around here, so they do the job for small game in this country. Like my old dad used to always say, he said, an ounce of lead in the target is worth far more than a ton in the field. Hit what you're aiming at. When I was growing up, people don't realise that we had a lot of cropping country, and we had a lot of trouble with birds coming on the crops. And yeah, my ration most times was a brick a week, a brick of 22 a week, which is 500 rounds a week. And if I burnt that, if I had a good reason, if I'd done well, I'd get more, but that was sort of like the ration back then. So I didn't have many rounds to come and go on. A beautiful morning up here. This is our second last day. Things aren't working. Just literally, there's been too much pressure, I think, put on these dogs. And too big of mountains around here that some would have died with the 1080. We caught that one big old guy, and the other ones are very hawky. I still think there's a dog out here for us, another one, but it's no use beating up a dead horse. It's time for the little Sierra to go into the workshop. If you think about it, this thing is done just on this trapping run. It's done over 1,200 kilometres and really it's caused no trouble. Very efficient to run. It's rough, I can get in and out of it quickly to shoot, open gates, whatever I need to do. It's, it fits. Suits the purpose. If only I knew what you could smell, lad. Now, I don't care whether you're a government employee or a private contractor or private individual that's trapping, you will always get some bycatch. And here's a classic example. Just let him out of the trap, just sitting there. Bycatch, I don't know what you were doing coming down on a dead carcass. Now this little guy has come in here on a carcass. There's a dead calf here, it died of natural causes. Nothing's touched it. We've put a few traps not really close to it, but within, say, 10 metres. And I've got this guy, righto. So, what do you reckon? You gonna go climb up a tree? Get out of here? We just straight away took the trap off his foot. Again, that's the beauty of that trap. Look at that. A little bit of fur going off there. The fur, but apart from that, all good. Not broken, not hurt. But I just do not know what you were doing coming in on a carcass. How silly is that? And this is a hard one. Now, if you're a Kiwi watching this, you hate these things with a passion because they've done more damage than probably anything else in New Zealand on trees and spreading TB and you name it. Well, you know, my granddad used to shoot them by the thousands. And actually, they reckon that's what that killed him in the end, was he got TB off the possums. If you're in Tasmania, you hate these things. You know, they are killed by their tens of thousands in other places in the world. Here, they are a protected part of our local fauna, and we do everything in our power not to catch them and not to kill them. There's a famous photo in New Zealand of a possum coming in, one of these guys coming in and taking little chicks out of a nest and eating them. So they are like an omnivore. They will touch meat at times. So the best we can do is use traps that are designed not to smash their legs, not to hurt them. And as you saw with skunk there getting caught, done correctly, you can get these guys out with very little or no damage, and that's what we're aiming to do. I just had a call from McKenzie over there in Perth. He's a dog trapper, or ex-dog trapper himself, and follows our channel. And it was just great because they noticed that there was no clip on this last Tuesday. So he rang up to make sure I was still alive or wasn't stuck out in the bush somewhere, or arrested or chased by a crazy landowner or something. So yeah, all good, mate, and wish you were here, but I don't think you'd be much good to me. Alan had a fall by the sound of it, and he's broken both wrists, ribs and a kneecap, so he wouldn't even be able to open the bloody gates. So you better get better quick, I reckon. Now, when I was a young fella and I got my first slug gun and then a 22, I'd shoot anything that moved, and if it didn't move, I'd give it a push. And yeah, I was pretty trigger happy as a young guy, much to my mum's distress. And one day I stopped. I just thought about what I was doing and yeah, looked at something I shot and felt sorry for it. I remember my dad saying to me, "You finally learned a little bit of compassion." And he explained to me, he said, when you kill something, he said, you're taking its soul onto your conscience. And if that sits okay with you, well and good. But if it doesn't, well then you've got to make sure that you kill whatever it is as quickly and painlessly as you can. So a lot of people have been saying, oh, I'm against 1080 poison. No, I'm not. 1080 has made a very important part of our wild dog control program for this country, and very useful in other places where they've got to control other introduced animals, whatever. But the truth is, you can't kill something painlessly and quickly with poison. So it's not for me. Now here, they've used 1080 and I think they've had a really good effect. But it wouldn't have killed all the dogs. It probably would have killed the young, silly ones. And what we usually find is the others disappear for a while and then they come back. And usually what I catch after a 1080 baiting campaign is a lot of older, bigger sort of mature dogs. But I think if it's done on a regular basis and done well, it does have that effect of pulling the numbers of animals down. Yeah, so it's it's part of the overall system, and for me, I'd much rather look something in the eye if I'm going to kill it, and yeah, it's a personal thing. I'm not sure how it sits with everybody else, but yeah, not against 1080, it just doesn't sit with me.